Yeah, oh, darn it. And you know what sucks is about an hour ago I thought I had cracked this, and oh man, I was like almost dancing a Russian jig. I honestly was so delusional that I thought I was able to get the supply points to the core HQ in this turn. And it's like, oh no. You just can't get around this, and I've tried every trick in the book, like I said, I thought I had cracked it, but there's just no way. You just can't get out of this. Even the Germans, even if this was the Germans, it's section 10.4. Well, there's a few of them here, but the biggie, of course, is section 7.6. Units may not enter hexes containing enemy zones of control while moving by rail. And in this game, even having a friendly unit in a hex of one of the enemy zones of control does not negate that enemy zone of control for the purposes of rail movement. Even for Germans, man. And like I said, we're not talking Germans here, but son of a bitch. I'm just saying, I thought I had it figured out. I was like, yeah. I was just like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? And I was, all these little conversations going on in my head. I was like, that's why you stare at the map, Chris. That is why you stare at the map. I mean, I was congratulating myself. It was just nuts. And I was like, oh my God, this feels exactly like when I would figure out a way of getting out of hell when I used to play chess a long, long time ago. And I was like, oh my God, you figured out it was like whatever, but nope, that's not the case. It's primarily due to this, man. The second cavalry that popped over here from Vilna, if it had stayed there, I think I would have had a lot of, I would have been okay. Well, I still can't move. I wouldn't have been able to do it this turn, but I would have had a heck of a lot easier time getting rid of the cavalry out of the zone of control. I just needed, just that one little bit, but it's not going to happen. So they're stuck. As long as the cavalry, I don't want to go down that road of how much, like I've also had those other conversations earlier on in the evening there. I was just like, I can't stand cavalry right now. Because they've just been a giant headache, man. Yeah, I just can't. They're stuck there. As long as there's a enemy zone of control onto that hex, I'm sorry, but those guys are stuck there. What a bummer. Anyway, so Anatoly Rosenshield, I guess, is going to have to give Rennenkampf the bad news that there's no other. I can't see. And you know what? Screw the Cossacks. There's no other. The Cossacks would be useless. I mean, in the long run, I think they would have been, but they're not going to do it. I mean, it still would have taken them, I think, 3 more turns to get from Galicia all the way up here. They're helping out the Third Army there. So whatever, Ivanov, you can do whatever you want with your freaking Cossacks. They wouldn't have helped anyways, I think, in the long run, because it's still going to take me effectively 4 turns. So 1st of November. Turn 1 November is when these supply points are going to be able to be used, but only by Core HQ 1. So that's only 2 for an attack or 4 for a counterattack. That's totally useless. So yeah, basically I'm telling. Oh, and I did look up a little bit more. I tried as much as I could. Like I was looking up which military schools Anatoly Rosenshield went to, and see if there was any coordination between these two guys, Rennenkampf as well. They did have, both of them had extremely strong cavalry ties. And from what I've been reading, a lot of the cavalry-ish or cavalry-friendly people in Russia at the time were, I can't remember the guy's name, Solimanov or something. But then anyways, there was 2 military camps going, or 2 schools of thought. I mean, one was more modernizing. I think the Solimanov or whatever the heck his name was, he was a bit more modernizing towards let's try to model a bit more towards the German and French way of doing things. And I think Rennenkampf was more anti that way. So he was, it seems like he could have been as well, but yet also he was pretty innovative, and it seemed so. Yeah, I was also looking up. Oh, was it him? Yeah, the boxer Rennenkampf. You want to talk about somebody who was tough as old boots? Holy smokes, man! This guy had his shin shattered, supposedly, I think, in the Boxer Rebellion, and 2 months later, literally, was back on his horse on the battlefield. Like, what the? Jesus Christ! I mean, let's be honest. Everybody's ever had a kick in the shins. It hurts like hell. I'd be like, what? Anyways, so yeah, basically Rennenkampf's going to be given the bad news. You've got no supply points, no reinforcements, nothing coming, for whatever. And so you figure out what you're going to do. And like I said in, I think, one of the previous posts, that Rennenkampf seems to have been a crafty little devil. I also know that there was supposedly, I think, I should look them up, I will, a corps maybe, or a couple of divisions that basically are almost like they sacrificed themselves, like they stuck, I think, in this forest, the Rodent Heath or something, around that area, to buy off some time for the rest of the Russian First Army to get out of there. Yeah, so basically I think the only way, so that's going to be like 1 turn, 2 turns, 3 turns. There's no other, as long as there's enemy zones of control here, I can't really, I don't see any other way around it. Like I said, I can't move this. Oh gosh, it was so close. I thought I really had it. Yeah, so that's that for this bit, and then I have to start figuring out, like, I think I'm going to maybe roll for Rennenkampf to figure out what, like I said, he is a bit crafty, but I also want to know, like, okay, even though I am talking from here and you guys, it doesn't matter, you're seeing the same thing all the time unless I move the camera, but I'm telling you, perspective is incredibly different. Like, I find when I'm looking at it from here, from the German perspective for the Russians, they look a lot safer than I think they really are. And then I flip on this side and I'm like, oof, this is where your supply line is, man. Like, nothing else. And so shouldn't you be trying to secure your last little good spot? And then, I don't know, rather, what is that saying? Throwing, oh my God, I think I got it. Good money out of bad or something. You know what I mean? If you keep going this way, you're just throwing resources into when it's like, ta-da. So I don't know. Or is that too problematic? Yet again, we're getting into this, like, do I start doing some kind of continuous whatever? You just don't have enough troops. But, and yet again, remember, the Russians have no flipping clue what's about to happen in November. And, yeah, I guess that's the other good thing I'm trying, which seems to help about trying to, excuse me, stay, I don't know, more two-player-ish when you're playing alone, is adding that role play aspect. Like, for example, I'm like, okay, what would Rennenkampf do a bit more so I play very differently than I would if Brusilov was up here, for example, or so on and so forth. So it does help, so you're like, okay, wait a minute, even though I may know, or I should, like, part of me, trust me, my brain knows that, hey, the Germans are gonna, like, go freaking mental here in a minute, but so I'm like, well, yeah, I can't do this. So I did also, remember, I was thinking of previous, we'll start going here, but I'm like, no, maybe you should roll, because Rennenkampf may have other things in mind. I don't know. We'll see. So that's it. I still, what a bummer. I think I'll try to figure out a way of maybe getting rid of 1 turn by, and that would have to be by getting rid of one of these guys, but I just don't have enough troops, because there's only, what you got here? The 72nd Reserve, and then these guys, there's just a lot of craziness here. It's only, remember, it's only that here where Anatoly Rosenshield is, with the 29th here, and that's it. The rest here is just replacement units, and the supply thing. That's it. And of course, Skovno, the fortress. Jeepers jumping. So, yeah. I don't know. not so, well, I'm certainly not as ecstatic as I was like an hour ago. Oh well, it's the way it goes.